if you're running Facebook ads and you are just guessing, you don't track your numbers, you're just feeling whichever ad works best based on the cost per lead or the cost per schedule, you're just guessing and you're running ads emotionally. That's why you're gonna not be able to scale, and that's what poor advertisers do. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how I track my ads so I'm not just guessing, and how I can make you 5x returns in the next 30 days. And I'm gonna show you an actual case study of someone we just did this for, because it's the truth. And so if you take a look here, let's go ahead and zoom in right here. Previously, they were seeing an average cost per schedule across all their campaigns of over $550 for a schedule. This is for a B2B company selling studio setups. They should not be seeing that cost per schedule. They have a great product, phenomenal results. It's very visual. So in the ads themselves, it was phenomenal. They were performing well, but their cost per schedule was ridiculous. After we fixed this, just by going through what I'm gonna show you today, we're able to bring their cost per schedule on average to around $100, right? And they're still trending down. We've been running their same creative for 3 months, right? I've only been actively with them for a few months. I haven't made any new creative for them yet, and we've been able to bring their cost per schedule down to $100, and it'll probably go down towards $50 to $70. So how did we actually do this? Well, we did it by doing 3 main things, which we're gonna cover in this video. It's gonna be the funnel metric breakdowns, it's gonna be application optimization, and then how we worked with Andromeda instead of against it, which I'll actually show you inside of the ad account. And so funnel metric breakdowns, what do I mean by this? Well, let me ask you, what do you actually track in your funnel right now? What stats do you track? Because if you're like most people, you track how much do I spend to how much results do I get. So if I spend $1,000, basically all I know is I got 10 leads, right? $100 a lead, okay? That's what most people do. So before I started working with this customer, they went ahead and they had an opt-in rate that wasn't tracked. They had a self-booking rate that wasn't tracked, and they didn't know their cost per MQL. MQL means marketing qualified lead. This is like if you run an application and you only take people who, for example, make at least $10,000 per month, everyone above that would be marketing qualified. Anyone marked below that would not be marketing qualified. You need to know that number, not just your cost per lead. And when you track none of your numbers, most people look at the ads and think those are the things that suck. If we go here, that's exactly what was happening previously. And I can tell you that because I don't know if I'm even gonna be able to go all the way, but I can tell you that because if we were actually able to scroll down there, it would have shown you they have dozens of campaigns launched that aren't even active because they thought there was something wrong with the way they were media buying. They thought there was something wrong with the creatives. They were always launching new creatives. That wasn't the issue. The issue was that they had a leaky funnel, which we go into fixing here. And so when you look at the ads themselves, they were doing good. Like let's go over here really quick. I should be able to just drag this. Note to you guys, don't try to use Ads Manager on an iPad. It doesn't work very well. But when we go in there and we actually look at their cost per click, what I like to look at is your cost per link click. This is a good indicator if a creative's good. When we look at their cost per link click, they were getting like $5 link clicks, right? And the leads that were coming through were relatively qualified, right? Which means that overall, we were getting in front of the right people and the right people were interested, but the cost per schedule is way too high. At a $5 cost per link click, a $500 schedule, that means that 1 out of 100 people who click the ad were actually scheduling. That's a funnel issue, not an ads issue. And so when we actually fix this, which I'm not gonna tell you exactly how we fix this in this video, if you want me to go in and fix your funnel for you, pay me. But when we actually looked at this was the stats we pulled. So we pulled their opt-in rates, we pulled their booking rates, and we pulled their marketing qualified lead rates. Before fixing these funnel metrics and before fixing the funnel, their opt-in rate was less than 10%. Their self-booking rate was 30%, and their marketing qualified leads were 3% of the opt-ins, which means that if they had an 8% opt-in rate, 3% of the overall opt-ins were qualified, right? This is terrible. We want an opt-in rate between 7.5 and 12.5%. Above 10 is great, 7.5 is like bare minimum, and then 10 is good, you know? A self-booking rate, this is the biggest number that's awful. We should have a self-booking rate above 70%. And that's pretty much on every funnel where we're going straight from application or lead form or purchase to book a call. There should be 70% self-booking. And so once we fixed this, which was very simple, is we went ahead and we took a look at their self-booking rate and we went, okay, clearly this is a funnel issue. We went in, we fixed their lander on their schedule page because what was happening was they were sending people to a page where they would have to look at video 1, video 2, video 3 to explain the product. And then under that was the button where they could click schedule a call and then it would pop up a calendar. That was awful. That was terrible. We didn't want that anymore because we want more of these people that were already qualified by an application to actually be able to book a call with us. And so what we did was we got rid of those 3 videos. We embedded the calendar directly on that page and we put schedule your call, more info on the next page. Because the reality is people aren't going to watch your multiple videos explaining the product anyways at that point, because they aren't committed to showing up for a call. Once they're committed to showing up for a call, they're going to go back and watch those videos because they want to be educated on what they're about to buy, right? So we went ahead, we got rid of all that. We did the embed. Once we fixed it, their opt-in rate, which also ties into the application, we'll get more into that in a second, went up to 15%. Their self-booking rate went to 75%, which means right there we had a 2.5x in their number of bookings just by fixing their self-booking rate, okay? That alone takes their cost per schedule from $500 to $150 before we fix anything else. That is a massive improvement. Then we also had their marketing qualified lead rate up to 5.8% of opt-ins, which means that they were also getting 80% more marketing qualified leads for the same exact ad spend. This client went from spending $30,000 per month on ads, barely breaking even, to getting more calls on the calendar and a much higher ROAS, almost 5 times higher, spending only $10K monthly. He cut back his ad spend, made more profit, made more revenue. It's that simple. Now let's get into step 2, which was application optimization. And so just like most companies, here's an application people fill out to get higher lead quality. You don't want to just get a name and phone number, because those are gonna be the lowest quality leads in general, right? Obviously, if your marketing messaging is good, if your landing page says, hey, this is only for these people, do not opt in if you're this kind of person, you can vet that. But for the most part, the less information, the less questions you gather, the lower the intent and the lower the quality of the lead. And so the application was previously 7 questions, and out of 3,600 people that started this, only 800 people had filled it out, which means that out of 3,600 total people who went in to do the application, only 800 made it in the back end with their lead info in the system. This means that let's say that out of 100 people who hit your landing page, only one of them is going to try to, or only 10 of them are going to try to opt in, right? And out of that 10, only 2 of them made it through. That is awful. That's a huge constraint in the system. And this means that 75% of leads that hit the survey are leaving. Now, most marketers, most people who run ads think, okay, great, we have a huge dropout. This means that it's going to be qualified leads. This means that they're going to be higher intent. Yes and no. So the issue was, if we take a look right here, with the actual questions themselves, there were 3 questions that were all very redundant. It was basically, do you have enough space for the camera equipment? Are you willing to invest money into getting this camera equipment? And then just to double check, are you willing to dedicate the space and make an investment if we hop on a call with you? The 3 questions that were here, if you take a look here, all had over a 90% yes rate. And the bottom 2 actually had over a 97% yes rate, which means that only 1 out of 33 people were saying no anyways. This means that we were losing. And if you look at the response rate, 2111, 1935, and then finally only 1401 hit this one, we were losing about a third of the traffic that was hitting this application to questions that everybody was saying yes to. And this company isn't constrained by talent. They have a setter who can vet these leads. If he has to turn away 1 out of every even 10 people, but we get 3 times as many leads for it, or 35% more leads for it, it's worth it every single time. And so once we fixed that, we had 50% of survey applicants as compared to 25% of survey applicants filling out the form, and we were able to double our marketing qualified leads. That's where that 5.8% came from earlier, is that we got way more marketing qualified leads because we fixed the application, right? And so that's how we went ahead and went through step 1 and step 2 of actually fixing the funnel metrics, and then how we fixed the applications. We looked at the drop off on the actual questions themselves. Finally, how did we restructure the campaigns to work with Andromeda? Let's get into this. And so when we go ahead and we run ads for Andromeda, I have a more in-depth video on how we run ads for Andromeda on another page, but on another video. But when we look at how we run ads for Andromeda, what most people used to do is the very traditional, here's one campaign. The campaign has 5 ad sets. We distribute the budget evenly across the 5 ad sets, and each ad set has 3 to 5 ads, right? That's what used to be done. However, it doesn't work the same anymore, because what Facebook is trying to do is it's trying to be intelligent and figure out which ads are going to provide you the best result as you spend more. And so we want to play into that. We don't want to play against it, right? And so what we do is we set up one campaign, we set it up as a CBO, and when we set it up as a CBO, that means we just put all the budget on the campaign level and let it decide. It's one campaign, one ad set, and we put 20 ads in this campaign. What ended up happening, and I wish I could show you better here, is that when we first launched the campaign, only 2 schedules came in the first 3 days. So it was $900 wasted right there. But what happens is Meta saw where those schedules were coming from, and us as advertisers, we can manipulate where that spend is going to help us make more money, right? What we went ahead and did at that point is we said, okay, we have this one ad that took out of that $900, $600 of it, and only gave us one schedule. We killed that right away because it was eating the ad spend, but it wasn't producing schedules at a cost we liked, right? And then we continued that process, whereas ads were eating the spend, but they weren't producing schedules at the cost we liked. We just would kill those and we continue that way. And what ends up happening is Meta says, okay, you keep killing all these that we're spending towards, and then it finds one of the 20 ads and it says, okay, this one ad is giving us a $80 cost per schedule. And it may continue to distribute to the wrong ads, but if you keep killing those ads that are overeating the spend, it will start to redistribute only into the ad that's hitting KPI. And what's great is with Andromeda specifically, it's going to continue to improve because if it's hitting KPI, if you're willing to spend more on it and it's getting more results, it has more data to feed off of in order to find more people like that. That is exactly what we did on this campaign, and their cost per schedule on this campaign is at 120 now. At the end of the first week, it was at 270. End of the second week, it was at 180. It's at 120 now, and I want to get that campaign down to $80 per schedule before, of course, I say we're at KPI and I scale it to $1,000 a day, right? Getting about 12 calls a day on the calendar, which is phenomenal, and most companies could grow amazing off of that. And so, if you want to 5x your returns on ads, you got to track your numbers. You got to know what you're looking for. Track your opt-in rate. Track your schedule rates. Track your cost per click, your CPMs. Track all those fun numbers that are going to tell you, is this an ad issue? Is this a landing page issue? Or is this a media buying issue, right? If you go ahead and you know these numbers and you actually track it and break down where the constraints are in the system, you'll be able to scale your campaigns, and hopefully you get a 5x return on these fixes as well. Hey, I hope that was helpful and that you got a lot of value from what I just showed you. However, if you are an online coach or an agency who's looking to scale consistently and profitably, there is a better way that we can help you out. As you can see on this page right here, give us 7 days and we will install our $367,000 per month client getting system that's helped dozens of coaches scale to 100,000 plus per month. We use this exact system to help a dating coach break 380,000 a month. We've used it to help other info coaches break the $50,000, $100,000 a month range. We've even helped agencies break $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a month just by fixing their client acquisition systems. So if that's you actually have budget spent on ads and you're looking for either done for you help if you're over 7 figures already, or you're looking for done with you, let us help you out, teach you how to do it on your own. If you're between the $10,000 and $100,000 a month mark, click the button down below. Go over to this page right here, the one right here on your screen, and apply there. I will see you on the inside.